Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new part in this series. Today, we're going to basically add the bonfire mechanic, make sure NPCs are dealing the right type of damage, and some other things we skipped over before that we should be adding now. So, before we get started, I'd like to thank all of my Patreon supporters for the amazing support. So, first of all, I'd like to say I am using a couple of animations from Survival Animset Pro. I want to highlight you can use whatever animations you want. These just look nice. I've been asked a couple of times, why don't you use more free stuff? You can just use the free stuff. I mean, it's nothing stopping you from just using a different animation. I like these because they look really good. I already had them anyway. But again, you can just use whatever animations you want just to follow along. You don't need to use the exact same assets I'm using. It's all about the mechanics. So, again, that's completely up to you. I don't really have an actual bonfire. I'm sure I must have it in one of my way too many assets. However, I'm going to use a brazier from Lordenfell. If you've never checked out Lordenfell, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing, and it would definitely fit Dark Souls type setting. It's actually absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to be using a brazier here, which I know is not literally the same, but it's cool enough. It's at least it will be different, and we won't literally do a bonfire. So yeah, pretty cool. So I'm using the lit one. And there's a reason for that as well. So let's add a parent, create empty parent. There we go. Brazier. Simple. Let's unpack this one. And the reason I'm using the lit one is because we can just turn those on. We're going to have an animation for that as well, which is pretty cool. We'll use some trickery. So basically, we're going to teleport the player into a certain position just to make sure this is instant. We'll use some camera trickery to hide that. If you think that's cheating, a lot of big games actually do this. Even the absolutely amazing The Last of Us uses camera trickery to sometimes teleport the main player to a different spot just to make sure the execution, animations look really good and really fine. You can't always do that perfectly on the spot. So sometimes some teleportation together with some, different camera angles is used in order to achieve that. So we'll do it the same. Obviously, it's not Last of Us quality. I would never want to say that. But I just wanted to add that it's something pretty normal to do. So obviously, I already gave this a shot. Already tried out a couple of things, not everything, I'll admit. So I know, about this works for the animations I'll be using. Again, the position of this marker will depend on the animation you are using, how much space it takes up. I know a lot of these games don't even do animations for things like that. It just magically turns on. I thought it would be cool to have one. Now, one of the downsides of really high quality animations like the survival anim set, and by the way, if you're creating a survival game in third person, my god, these are good. Really great animations. One of the downsides, obviously, is that, the higher quality, the longer they take sometimes. So that's why I think, the teleportation does help reduce that time a tiny bit. At least it won't take as much time. So, we're going to be using the same old, the basic triggers here. I'm going to do a box glider, and again, this is my choice to only have it appear from one side. With this teleportation, you can literally have it, the trigger in a circle around it, and just teleport the player one way. You can do that. We can, you know what, let's actually do that. We're going to do that. At least you'll see the benefit a bit of using this, the teleport instead. It definitely adds some value here. So let's make this 1.5. That's fine. So we'll have a player enter. We'll have another trigger, player exit, and we'll have another trigger, player enter key. Now I'm going to use E for interactions. Makes sense to me. We'll have conditions here, we'll have actions here, and we'll have conditions here, but I'll just copy over some because the conditions are actually the same. And we'll do a local variable here that defines the state, because yes, we'll first turn it on. So we'll just lit bool. We'll first turn it on and then you'll be able to rest. I think that looks cool. So yeah, let's get started with those first conditions. So conditions, enter, actions, exit. Cool. So local variable, no, bool, sorry. Bool, local variable. We'll drag in the brazier and we'll use lit. So if it's not lit, then we're going to perform a set of actions. So in this case, the actions will be really simple. We're going to activate a simple UI element, which we'll create. And if it is lit, we'll activate a different UI element. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Same action. And there we go. So let's start off with creating that UI element. So canvas, let's switch to 2D mode. Oh my god, that's horrible. Scale, let's try that again. 1920, 1080. It's really annoying. It doesn't scale like real time. Okay, there we go. There we are. Let's add a simple UI image. 300 by 50. 400 maybe. 400. Let's do 400. Some transparency, just because I do like to have some transparency. And then a text. I'm going to use the scale trick again to make the text sharper. If you're wondering why I'm not using TextMesh Pro, yes, you can use TextMesh Pro. Why I'm not using it, no idea. Just got so used to using just normal text that yeah, I'll just stick with that. There we go. I don't know, 40, 44. Yeah, seems big enough. Light brazier. There we go. We'll call this canvas light as well. Pretty sure light should be spelled differently. Wait, light. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's change that. There we go. Light brazier. So we'll duplicate the canvas, and all we'll do here is with the text is we'll change that to sit down. There we go. And we'll just call this canvas sit down as well. Cool. Then we can disable these. If you want to go the canvas group route with having them fade in, out, obviously you can do that. It looks a tiny bit fancier. We've done that before, so you should know how to do it. We've done it in this series. So light should activate and sit down should activate. I'm going to copy this over, and then in the exit actions, let's duplicate, and we'll just turn both off. That way we don't have to worry about conditions. They'll just always both turn off. Easy as is. And we'll duplicate these conditions, and we'll call this interaction, and we'll create some new actions. So make sure to press key both and really do this new actions, otherwise you override the old ones. And then we'll drag those in here, because yes, the the conditions are the same. So let's switch back to 3D mode. Let's go back to that brazier. There we go. So first of all, we're going to go with teleport, transform, press rotate, and then we're going to go to the marker. And only then do we do a property players controllable. If you do it the other way around, it doesn't work. Not it doesn't work the way it should be working. So it does teleport, but some strange stuff happens. So yeah, do it the right way basically. Um, no, I'm not going to do it. Let's try to do it without that. Then a gesture player will wait to complete. So I'm going to use the bonfire match. We basically have match and spark, which are both really cool, but spark is 15 seconds. I think 7 seconds is already a really long time, but it just looks so good. But yeah, 15 is just way too much. So we'll use match, and again, this is just an animation of him matching, lighting a fire. If you want some free animations, Mixamo has tons of stuff. Give that a try. Then we'll do bool again, and then we'll do local variable, and we're going to set lit to turned on, basically. So then the second time we interact, we can't actually do this again, and it will just go to this set of actions. Now, we'll do the camera actions a bit later. We just want to make sure this works, and the camera actions would actually hide if it works properly, yes or no. And then the next thing we're going to do, so we have assigned bool to lit, all great. I'm going to execute some actions because I want, obviously would like the fire to turn on as well. So game creator actions, and we'll call this light fire. Can't believe I misspelled that all this time. There we go. Make sure wait to finish is not turned on, so keep it turned off because this needs to happen simultaneously. And in case of my animation, 4 seconds matches pretty well. When it should be, when the fire should go on. Again, all depends on the animation you're using. If you're using a different one from a different pack, or even if you're using the spark one because it actually is nicer, then obviously the time frame of 4 seconds won't work because it takes a bit longer. So something to keep in mind. And yeah, we'll turn these on. So let's have a look. Let's see if this actually works, and what we need to do next. So all nice, cool, fancy. Let's turn off those gizmos. Okay, so Light Brazier. I press E, and then yeah, he teleports, turns it on, and yay, we have a fire. And I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that looks pretty cool. There's a couple of things we'll need to turn off though. So for one of the things that will always work is the melee input. So is controllable does nothing to prevent you from using melee input, which is kind of a shame. Would have been nice if that just by default would. Would have been nice if by default it would just turn all of those actions off as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't, so we'll need to come up with something for that. A really simple one would obviously be set active, and then just turn off the entire combat. So we'll do that, and then we'll turn it back on. Just realize we need to turn on that is controllable back again as well, obviously. There we go. So let's see the implication of that. So basically combat for us will be pressing the left mouse. So let's see if we can actually still do that during this interaction. And we can't. As you can see, we can't do it. And then the moment he goes back, we can turn it back on again. So yeah, pretty cool. Simple way to avoid that issue. And as you can see now, it's sit down. But we didn't create any actions yet. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a camera. So I want to have a different camera motor. There we go, camera motor. I think if we change it to fixed, we should have a preview as well. Again, keep in mind because of HDRP, it looks, the lighting just looks a bit off, which is fine. Let's make sure this is turned off. There we go. Yeah, definitely won't be winning any awards for this. Doesn't even, yeah, it doesn't look that good. There we go. Let's try that again. And yeah, I have no idea if this is gonna look good. Anyway, let's hope this looks somewhat good. I have no idea. So let's go to those conditions. And then obviously we need to add the action here to change camera. So I think if we just type camera, we'll find it straight away. So teleport. So it should happen here. I'm going to do an incredibly small transition of 0.1. Let's see if that actually works. If it looks good, I mean, obviously it will work. The question is, does it look good? And then at the end, we can increase that time to make it feel a bit better. And we need to make sure that's before we control the player again. And we'll just go back to the camera motor, which hopefully is not selected as main. Oh, that's fine. So let's take a look. So press E. Yeah, okay. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. Let's make sure to save this. I'm going to try a different camera, different angle, so I'll still stand somewhere else. And yeah, I'm actually fine with this. It's actually not as bad. It's one of the things. It's a shame the preview just doesn't render that well in HDRP. But yeah, this is actually not bad at all. Cool. Then the next step, obviously, is going to be what are we going to do next? So we're going to do a state here. So state layer 3 to make sure it goes on top of everything. And you know what? A lot of the actions are actually the same. So let's find this group of actions. And then this is the empty one. I'm just going to duplicate this one and drag that in. So yeah, there we go. We have all of our actions. So a lot of this I'll keep exactly the same. We can get rid of this for now. The gesture as well, because we're not going to use a gesture. We're going to use a state. There we go. We can get rid of this for now, and for now we'll get rid of everything below. But at least a lot of this will be similar. Then we are going to create a state here. Which I don't have. I don't have a folder for that. I'll just create a new folder. States. There we go. Yeah, let's get rid of that for now. So we'll create a state. So game creator, state. Simply the reason being is that obviously, we'll need to sit down for a while. Not a locomotion, a simple state. Apologies for that. And we'll drag in bonfire start. One of the things to keep in mind with these animations is that they are root motion animations. And often when you get these from like sources like Mixamo, for example, you have a start loop and an exit, they won't match properly on one of the axes. And that's pretty nice with this pack. At least they all match on the axes and you don't really have to mess around with anything. So we can just drag in the loop here. We can drag in the stop and it will all just match and there won't be any strange movement going on. So that's pretty cool, and that's obviously one of the things to do keep in mind with some of the animation packs. That's not always the case, or if you get them from different sources. Luckily, of course, for us, it works just fine with this pack. Well, at least lucky for me, unless you use something else. So we can drag in that state now. So state locomotion. Let's actually change the name to Brazier sit. I think it just makes a lot of sense to call it that. And you'll see it works just absolutely fine. So yeah, that's really nice. So we have our camera, we have our sit. Now here's kind of the thing. How are we going to handle that? You press E again and you kind of get up. Obviously, that's one of the things we do have to look at. And if you want to keep using the same trigger, and I would like to highlight that. So, for example, here, Brazier, you'll see that we're hardly in it. So if this is going to work, I don't know. So might have to just make it a tiny bit bigger. That way, we're absolutely sure. Bit of a cheat, but that's fine. So how will we handle getting out of this? And we can basically just add a second bool here, and it's an easy way. So just sitting, and really that's it. So let's go back to our interactions here, and we have lit, and then we're going to duplicate this, and we'll do sitting turned off. And then we're going to add another group of interactions, which will happen once we get out of this. So we basically just copy this, copy that, and of course here, sitting is going to be turned on. So what are we going to do here? So we're going to, well, for one, we can copy the state, and we can do a reset. Now the reset transition time is basically the exit animation. So we'll have to look up that exit time, quite important. So we'll have to do a wait to match that, because it's not like gestures where wait till finished happens. So we'll have to add a wait, and then we can copy over some of the other actions we had here, where we basically go back to our original camera motor, and let's do that first. And then we can also copy over the action that assign bool. Obviously it won't be lit, it will be something else in this case. So we'll be sitting and we'll turn that off, meaning that at the end of our previous actions, we'll have to turn that on. Obviously we'll have to turn on the UI as well. It's pretty self-explanatory. And we'll have to turn back on the combat actions. So, quite important. We'll have to turn on controllable as well, which again, quite important. So yeah, that's a lot going on here. Before we go into the whole UI, which won't be as difficult as you might imagine it to be, let's see if all of this actually works. Now, before we do that, I do want to make sure that we have the right time for Bonfire stop, because again, these animations are quite long. So 4.78, it's quite a long animation. So I'll literally do 5 seconds, just 4.8. There we go. And then we need to do 4.8 on the wait as well. And there we go. So yeah, let's try this out. Let's see if all of this actually works. If it doesn't, we'll need to make some changes, and that's completely fine. So like Brazier, yes. I still like that. The whole camera cheating with teleportation just makes it go really fast, instant. You don't feel like you have to wait for something, then sit down. We do the same thing, and as you can see, um, yeah, the legs do a weird thing, which you can manually adjust if you want. We still have to have a look at his armor, etc., of course. And that's pretty much it. Now, if we press E again, as you can see, he's getting up, and we transition. Now, we could argue that we could make this weight a bit shorter. So we could do 4.4. So let's do sit down. There we go. And press it again. And the 4.4 4.4 is not doing that much. Anyway, we'll try 4. We'll try 4 next time we actually give this a go. So yeah, all of that is completely fine. I quite like it myself, which obviously I would say if I make this myself. And then we need to create the actual important canvas. Obviously, this is going to be the big thing here, because having all of this is really cool, but it's all about it being able to actually use this. So let's start with that. And for that, I'm going to simply duplicate our inventory, and I'll explain in a bit why. Because inventory just has several things we might want to use, which is nice. And then we'll call this. What are we going to call this? Brazier. No. Yeah. Brazier Fire instead of Bonfire. Cool. And I'm going to add canvas in front of it, because otherwise I have no idea what this means. There we go. So we need to have a look at that, and there's a lot, luckily, that we can simply remove from here, because we don't need most of this. But we do need a couple of things. So we do need, for example, we do need the stats, which are really nice. But a lot of the other stuff is not going to be necessary. We also do need, of course, some of the actions to happen. So health gets restored, we're saving, things like that. Quite important. So yeah, let's have a look at that. So we're going to keep it simple with leave and level up. We didn't do the whole hollow thing, etc. for the series, which obviously you can always add if you want to. So let's have a look. So we have inventory here. And if we turn that off, it's basically most of what we're doing. So we're not going to do that. We are going to get rid of the container items, the menu. I would like to keep the header. We're going to keep equipment. Not keep equipment, etc. So basically nothing actually related to the inventory. So I'm just going to call this design. And there we go. Obviously stats, this is the main thing here. It's mostly about the level up, so that's going to be quite an important thing. And obviously you can decide how you do this whole UI. Do you want it to be full screen? Do you not want it to be full screen? I would actually like to have it not be full screen. I think that would be kind of cool, which I can't seem to do. There we go. So yeah, I'll need to make some changes, and I'll basically keep it this size. There we go. Obviously the header now needs some work. So we have these two. Let's move these up. Need to find a fitting image for that. Which I'm sure there has to be one of them at least in one of my UI packs. So let's have a look. I'm just going to go with a star. Why not? There we go. Beautiful. It's not really high res, is it? But that's it's not really high res at all. Is there something a bit more high resolution that at least looks somewhat decent? Let's look. Yeah, let's. I don't know why this would make sense, but I like it. Cool. So let's rename this to level up. And again, this is not about the look. This is all about functionality. So about making sure this is all working right. Now, currency is definitely going to be quite the important thing as well, because we do need to see how many souls we have. I do know that the Souls game do take a slightly different approach to this. So it's it's basically being mentioned somewhere here. I kind of just want to keep it like this. That's just me. And there we go. Cool. So yeah, not the prettiest, but I do think it would be nice to just have it being over the bonfire part, and we can still see our, our guys sitting there. Would be a nice approach. So basically, what we need to do now is we need to find a way to convert any of this to be able to upgrade some of these things. And I would like to go with this type of approach where I'm going to add buttons, to up, down. So game creator, UI button. So going to be pretty simple in that sense. So it's basically going to be two buttons, which obviously won't affect level. So we'll have two buttons here, and height is 42, so we'll do 42 width as well. 42, there we go. And then instead of text, I'm going to add an image here, or we could just have the button be the image. That's good as well. I'm sure we'll have something that kind of matches arrows, or yeah, there we go. So this will be arrow right. I'm perfect. You can have them recolor like this as well. So we can do pressed actually being, for example, this color. That's nice. At least it really indicates we're pressing something. And then the actions need to do something. And these conditions, these actions will be based on conditions, of course. And these are going to define our calculation. So souls is going to add, so much vitality or something like that, which obviously is going to be the biggest mechanic here for this video. So it's been a while since we've actually done the whole calculation thing in one of our videos. And when we have a look at our class conditions, values, actions, there we go. This is where we actually had our all of our values. So the way we're doing this right now is that we're using souls as a currency with Game Creator. So it's basically a currency-based system. So it all relies on currency. And now what we need to do is we need to basically change the currency to be a variable, and then the variable to, well, have a condition that if you have this much, it will impact this and this. I mean, it's not the best explanation, but you get what I mean. So yeah, this is going to be call conditions, which is great, obviously, because then we can just call these conditions from everywhere. We don't need to, we can just duplicate those basically, which is really nice. There we go, call conditions. And yeah, so they're going to be relying on a condition here of a currency. So enough currency. So The currency has to be enough to basically upgrade something, and this is all where it comes up to you. How much would you require, to upgrade something? So, for example, at least a currency of 100. Again, you can have this being a whole math calculation. I'm not going to dig too much into that. We've done the math calculations for a couple of other things that cost can increase and things like that. I'm going to keep a constant here, which again you don't have to do. If you want to have it be a calculation as well, just go back to the original video we had on this for our stats where we use multi expressions. And then what you do is basically, add it to the global variable. I don't want to do that. I just want to keep it a constant, keep things simple. So for vitality, if we have at least 100 souls, then vitality, stats, change stats, player, vitality, add a value, and I don't know, 250. I'm just making something up here, but yeah, at least add that to this, and that's it. We need to have at least that. But what we also need to do then is with currency is subtract that value, and obviously that's important because otherwise it would be an infinite source. Then the important part is going to be for the button the other way. There we go. Let's call this decrease, and let's call this increase. So let's drag the decrease here. And yes, I could just turn it around, but let's not do that. So we have these nice little buttons. And then the conditions for decrease would be at first a bit similar. So we're going to subtract. We're going to add. Now here it comes to creating conditions that actually work. So we need to find a way to basically say, hey, this time when we open this menu, we changed this and this value, and that is definitely the difficult part. So yeah, we need to be able to do that. So we need to be able to say, hey, we changed it at least this much. And one of the ways to do this, so I'm going to, again, because we're putting this all like in this group here, I'm going to add a local variable here. So we're going to do local variable. This is increased. And we're going to do a number. Now, by default, this number is going to be 0. Then the moment we press this button of increase, we're going to add to the conditions variable, no, not variable number. There we go, variable number. Local variable, we're going to drag in vitality here, increase, and no, not this one, sorry, variable add, apologies for that. Variable add, local variable, then drag in vitality, increased, and we're going to do 1. So basically every time we press that, we're going to add a number, which basically says increased this amount of time. So we've increased, this one 2 times, basically. If we press it 2 times, because we have, we have a certain amount of souls, we have 200 souls, so we're increasing it 2 times, so this will become 2. So then when we decrease, we need to add a condition based on that. So it has nothing to do with currency. And did I alter the... Yeah, did I alter? I just want to double check. Okay, cool. I did alter. So then we can remove this. And we're going to do number, variable number. local variable, of course. Then we're going to drag this in again, increased, and 1. And then we're going to do greater or equal to 1. And then we're going to subtract, variable subtract, and we're going to do same variable again. Increase, and we're going to subtract increase by 1. And now we need to test this. So I'm going to leave this open. We do need to have a way to test this out, obviously. So let's add a UI, let's add a trigger here quickly. So trigger, actions, there we go. Currency, add 200. Let's do 500 just to see if everything is working correctly. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to turn off combat for a moment, and player is controllable, just to make sure we're not doing anything else. Cool. So we have 500 souls. We have vitality here, so we're going to press this button, and we're adding vitality, which is, awesome, cool. Then we're pressing it again, and yeah, again, fine. And again, so yeah, yay, loads of vitality here. So now I'm going to reduce this, reduce this, reduce this, reduce this, and then we need to see what happens now. And as you can see, nothing happens. So we're not subtracting more vitality than we were able to add. Let's do some coloring as well. Just add this to the same color so we can see what we changed, etc., etc. And then basically we set the condition. So we can't subtract more than we've added. Obviously, that does mean that the moment we're going to close this level up window, we need to reset all of those values, which is fine. It's not a lot of work. And that way, it's always only going to be based on this time that we're opening it. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. And yeah, oh yeah, it's not working more than that. Okay, cool. But yeah, as you can see, it's a pretty cool mechanic. Initially, when I thought of this, I had no idea how I was going to do that. And basically, the answer is always the same. Don't overcomplicate things. Just keep it simple, In the end, most of the time, if you don't know an answer, variables are just a solution and you're pretty much done. So yeah, cool stuff. Yes, that does mean that this is a bit of manual work, and I'm not going to pretend it's not. It's definitely a bit of manual work here. So we can obviously copy over these buttons, drag them in all of the other ones. But one of the things to keep in mind is, and I'll do this once, then, pause the video because I'll just fast forward that I've done, all of them. And I'll show once how to, efficiently copy this over to the next one, and yeah, that's it. So one of the important things here is obviously the positioning of these buttons. It's basically 0. Sometimes you see some really strange, weird little numbers. The Y is 0, and that's the important thing. So paste as child, Y 0. And that was a stupid idea. Not paste as child. Sorry about that. Duplicate. There we go. Attunement. And then Y0. There we go. That's better. And let's add as well that it changes the color of this. That's actually a lot. It's actually a lot of UI work because basically you need to have the same conditions again based on. Let's do that. Let's actually do that. Let's do that first. I know it is, not going to lie, it's a lot of work, but that's okay. So conditions, we'll need to change color of text vitality to that, duplicate that, change this text as well to that color. And we can do that on every increase. That's absolutely fine. And then on the decrease, we need to add basically another condition. There we go. If increase is equal to 0, again, quite important. If increase is equal to 0, wait, copy this over. I'm messing around here, but sorry about that. There we go. So yeah, this is gone. We need to add another call conditions here, because otherwise I'm just thinking it's not going to work. So create conditions. There we go. Another set of conditions with this. So if increase is equal to 0, then we're going to change those colors back. So we can just copy these over. There we go. And there we go. We can change these back to 0. Perfect. To white. I want to try this out first, because this is just this is improvisation, so I want to make sure this works properly. And then it should go back to 0. I think this should be working fine. Just let me double check, because I actually did not practice this whatsoever. Cool. Let's save this, and yeah, let's try that out. So okay, that's not changing colors. That is definitely that's definitely interesting. Why is it not changing colors? I didn't even consider that action not working. So change. So color maybe is a graphic color. I should have done that. Let's try that then. So there we go. And there we go. And then we drag in text. This is basically what happens when you totally improvise. You make mistakes. There we go. So cool, that should be working. So again, let's save that again. Going to turn off combat for a moment, just so he won't swing his sword. Cool. So yeah, that's working. And then decrease, no, and back to white. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this. Okay, that worked. That's pretty cool. So yeah, there we go. Would have been better if I wouldn't have messed up the actions there. And cool. So yeah, again, we'll duplicate this. We'll drag it here. Well, not under text, just under attunement. Position Y is the only one we need to change. And then what we need to do, obviously, is on attunement, we need to add that local variable as well. And yes, this needs to be per item, obviously, because it is incredibly specific per thing, because otherwise it would just change anything back. Let's drag these in the right order. So we have our conditions here. Currency, that's all fine, but we need to change attunement. Can't remember what that value was. Let's just do 50. You can change, how much currency you need for that. But then here, what we need to do is we need to drag in text attunement. We can leave this because that's absolutely the same. We need to drag in attunement text, and we need to drag in this text. So as you can see, it's a bit of manual work, not ideal, but yeah. Then here, we need to do the same thing again, attunement. There we go. Let's make sure we subtract the right amount. I think I added 50. I'm pretty sure that's way too high. But again, it's not really about the values. Then here, I need to drag in attunement as well. And then here, need to drag in attunement again. And we need to change the correct text as well. So yeah, as you can see, it's a bit of manual work, and sorry about that, but it's still faster than duplicating everything, I think, and changing it. Might be wrong, but I actually think it's faster. And yeah, that's all there is to it. I think the values of attunements are way too high. So let's try this out. Let's see if it all works. Let's turn off combat for the moment. Attunement is by default is 10. Yeah, this is way too high, but that's okay. Cool. And yeah, as you can see, it's all working, and that's not working. So okay, I messed up one of the actions there. So let's head back. Attunement button increase. I think it was all fine. I think it was only decrease. So let's double check those conditions. Increase. Okay, let's straight away change this attunement to 5. I think that's better. Attunement text. Yeah, not really seeing what I did wrong here. Text attunement. Oh, there we go. Attunement, subtract 5. There we go. Add, and then attunement. Attunement. Oh, there we go. And that explains why it's not working. Perfect. So let's try this out again. And yeah, now everything should be fine, unless I'm decreasing too much, which is okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Yeah, we can't subtract less or more. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. It's pretty awesome. And obviously, we need to have a confirm button that is just going to reset some of these values, so that we can't go back and decrease more and more and more. And all you really have to do is simply reset all of the increase values we'll be creating here. And yeah, that's it. So a bit of a complicated, might seem like a bit of a complicated system, but it's pretty cool. It's really nice. I do like it. Yeah, and basically, I'm not going to lie. Having that text change, what I didn't prepare this time, is actually a nice touch as well. I'm going to make the buttons a bit smaller. I think they're a bit too big because they stick to each other, which I don't like. And yeah, there we go. That's better. And yeah, so pause the video now, because I'm just going to fast forward until this whole list is done, and we can continue with our video. Cool, so everything is set up now, which is pretty cool. All of these are just obviously just copy paste. Make sure that you have the same local variables to at least save you some time. Don't copy paste, by the way, it won't work. They need all need their own ID, so you can just select them all, add component, local variable, and you have them all. But then you need to still add this manually, because yeah, they need their own IDs. So one of the last things we'll do here on this screen, other than obviously having the whole confirm button, is making sure that some of these values impact some of these values, which Dark Souls does as well. I'm going to go with endurance, strength, and dexterity to change these values. That might be wrong compared to Dark Souls. It doesn't really matter. It's your own preference. So first thing we need to do is we need to create some new global variables. So let's add, I'm going to add a new category as well. Just call this UI. Make that violet, different color. UI, there we go. So we'll have weight, number, we'll have poise, number, and we'll have defense, number, and UI. Cool. So the default value for poise on the player right now is 5, and the default for defense is 3. I'm going to keep those defaults. You don't have to. You can pick whatever you want as a default. And the default for weight is 100. Now, one of the things I do want to say in advance is that there is a weird little thing. It doesn't really happen with any of the other stats. But when we go here and we change the settings, max inventory to global variable weight. There we go. One of the weird things that does happen is that when we add weight, the global variable does change. So our max inventory does change. However, the UI doesn't seem to refresh that value. So in the menu, it doesn't appear to be changing. I'm not sure if that's a refresh bug or if it's just not constantly refreshing and that's why it doesn't do that. Not sure, doesn't happen with the other ones, but I can assure you we are actually increasing the max value, and I'm sure when you open it up again it will all work. But yeah, it was worth calling out just in case you're confused. Then let's go to the player, same thing here. So max poise, global variable, and we'll select poise, and then on the shield, max defense, global variable, defense. And it's, I'd recommend doing that on every shield. And I know that means that you can't, by default, you wouldn't have a shield that would actually have more defense value, for example. But you can, whenever you equip, unequip in the inventory module, you can just add to this global variable. That's the best approach. Because otherwise, you're going to mess up values, and then increasing your stats won't actually be saved. So yeah, I'd recommend doing it that way. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to go with endurance. So on increase conditions, I'm going to duplicate this one, global variable, weight, and I'm going to add 5. I think that's enough. And then in these conditions, duplicate this one, global variable, weight, and we'll remove 5. Now, I'm not going to do the whole coloring thing again. If you want to do that, go ahead. It just takes a bit too much time at this point, but you know how to do it. And then for strength and dexterity, I'm going to do the same thing. So just duplicate this, global variable. Strength, I'm going to do defense. Low values, because the default values are really low, so it wouldn't make sense to increase that by an insane amount. And then on these conditions, obviously, we need to do the same thing, global variable, defense, and then 0.5 again. And then lastly, dexterity, conditions. This is poise, right? Yeah, okay. Same low value, because, again, the default values are so low. Maybe 0.5 is already too much, actually. It might very well be, but that's okay. I'm not, this series is not about balancing. You should do that yourself, because that requires tons and tons of playtesting. So there we go. Let's see if this works. And again, as you're aware, I'm going to, pull up, because you do know now that we're getting our weight, maximum weight from the global variable. I'm going to be displaying that as well, just so you actually see that we are changing that number. However, that the UI is in real time updating that, which is, Yeah, it's a shame. It's a bit weird. Uh, where is combat? There we go. Don't really have an explanation for that. I'm not going to pretend I know why. So when we go to preferences here, um, again, just to show you, the value here is coming from a global variable, and that global variable is set 100. So now when I increase endurance, as you can see, the global variable is updating just fine. Unfortunately, this isn't. One of the ways you could work around this, obviously, unless you can, you're quite familiar with C# and you can edit the script so it would actually update properly. One of the other things you could do is, just have a global variable here, and not use that actual, and the maximum value, which is a great fix actually. That's the easiest fix, so you don't have to go into code. So basically, just fake this being this entirely. So only get the actual weight value, the 17, the actual value, and not pick the maximum value. In case you want to know how to do that. So on weight here, on the text, we have this set up. So basically what you do is you just remove this. And as you can see, it's not updating real time. It's not doing anything. And then just have weights, out of weight here. You know what? We'll actually do that at the end. We're actually going to do that. Anyway, let's remove a couple here. So I'm going to increase strength, increase dexterity, and you'll see all of these values go up. If you want to do the coloring, that's completely fine as well, of course. But yeah, I already did that. You know how to do it now. So let's actually do this last little step. I actually, thinking about it, I do think it's actually valuable to show you how to do this, because it is a bit annoying if it doesn't update. So unless I'm missing something, and please leave a comment explaining what I messed up, I would appreciate that. So it would be 100 here. So this one would be around here. Then we'd have another text in the middle, which is just a slash. There we go. Which is going to be something like this. So that's the slash. So the slash shouldn't have this script on it, of course. This should have just this. There we go. And then this, the 100 here, where is it? There we go. There it is. We're completely going to remove that. But first, just to make sure I have the right values, going to do game creator, UI, text variable. Let's drag that in on this one, just to make the placement correct. One, there we go. So it's this, 30, I think it is. I'm going to literally copy over these values, copy component, paste values. So now it's literally fitting. And then it's the global variable is weight. Then we need to. I could have added the slash here. That's really stupid of me. Well, that's okay. It doesn't really matter. And then now I can remove this. And yeah, I think it should all be fine now. So let's have a look. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this should be working now. And this is literally only just to have it refresh when we're pressing these buttons. But you can imagine that being quite annoying. It would be seen as quite a big bug in an actual release game, if you think about it. So yeah, that's why I'm doing all of this unnecessary effort, just to show you a workaround, at least for that not refreshing. So, looks the same as it did before, and at least now the value is changing, because we know we're actually changing weight. So yeah, okay, this was worth it. I think it was worth it. Yeah, that was worth it. Cool. So yeah, that's it. So now the last thing we need to do is add that button that basically confirms this. That says, okay, cool, we're done. So I'm going to add that to design here, UI game creator UI button. I'm literally telling myself what it's called just so I can find it, because I mess around sometimes here. There we go. That's kind of in the middle, and then we'll change the text to be confirm. 40 bold. Okay, 40 is a bit too much. 30. Again, this is not about it being pretty, because it's not. There we go. I think this is fine. Let's do a square here, and then change that to, I don't know, I'll actually keep it like this. Cool, so this is the confirm button, so let's give that a name as well. So confirm, perfect. So the confirm button, what it will do is, obviously it will close this, but what it's going to do as well is that it's going to reset all of this, all of the values. So let's reset all of those values back to 0. So going to do a call, now execute actions here. It's just a bit easier doing it that way. Make sure this is turned on. Game creator actions. That way, if we ever need to copy that over, we can just copy over the same actions. Local variable, so now just number. Local variable. And yeah, and this is the annoying thing. We'll need to drag all of that. So duplicate it a couple of times. I don't know how many times. Then so vitality, attunement, endurance, strength, dexterity, resistance, and intelligence. Cool. I should have done that first before duplicating them. And we all set them to 0. So first things first, save game. We're going to save this, obviously. There we go. We're going to save that. So yeah, all of these variables will be reset back to 0, which is the important part, because otherwise our whole structure won't work. And then we're going to set active, and we're just going to turn off this this canvas. There we go. And yeah, that should actually be it. I don't think there's anything else we need to do with this screen here. I think we're pretty good. And then the only thing we'll need to do, and I'll create a really simple UI for that, as well. We can actually just duplicate this one. I should have renamed this. So level. I'm calling this level up. And this is canvas choices. Let's just call it choices. There we go. So what choices is going to have? So we can turn off level up. And actually on level up, now that I think about it, confirm actions should actually activate our choices back again. So you go back to that screen. And then we can properly test this out. And this will be a quick one. I promise. Not everything will take ages. So there's no panel stats here. Yeah, there's not much of not going to be much of anything. I'm even removing the header. I'm going to keep this really, really simple. So yeah, this is going to be here, nice in the middle. Um, there we go. This is not even going to be stretched. It's just going to be in the middle, something like this. The button here, um, and this reminds me, I don't think I dragged in the actions. That's a good reminder of that. There we go. Perfect. So button confirm is going to be, remove that, remove that. It's going to be rest. So leave, sorry, leave. And that's going to set active choices. And it's going to execute some actions. So one of the things I did initially, so it's we have the conditions interactions, was completely wrong. So I'm going to rectify that. We basically have this set of actions, so we didn't do much wrong. So we have the last set of actions here when we press E again with the whole sitting, already getting rid of that. So let's drag out those actions to leave here. There we go. Then let's remove those conditions. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to select none for the last set. And then we can remove this clause. Yeah, cool. The whole sitting thing, actually, I don't know if we actually still need that whatsoever. I don't think we do. For now, I'll keep the value just in case, but we can remove the condition as well. So yeah, sorry about that. That was unnecessary, but we have the actions, and the actions are all that matter. And then we're going to execute them. So it will execute these actions, will stand up, and everything is controllable again. The only thing we need to be sure of is that, let's rename this. So button leave. There we go. Let's duplicate this button leave, and let's do button level up. And then this is simply going to be, and let's get rid of that. It's going to be two of this. And I think technically we have everything functional here. The only thing on interaction at the end, and let's close up this first clause, is that we set active this choices. And yeah, I think that's it. I think we're pretty good there. Yeah, I think we're done. And technically, I could be wrong, but I think we've got everything now. So we have our choices, we have the level up. Yeah, let's try this out. I mean, we'll discover if we did this right. We'll find out soon enough. Cool. So okay, light brassiere. I still like that. I actually like the camera change in general. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, this will pop up. Can't believe I forgot to drag that down. This is ridiculous. Anyway, I'm just quickly doing this this now, so I can correct it after, but I don't have to get in and out of play mode again. Level up. There we go. So yeah, we have leave, level up. So I'm going to select leave first. I want to make sure that all of that works. It works. The light brassiere actually has to turn off. I just realized that, but that's okay. We can add an action. Then level up. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 400 souls, and not the full amount. So yay, we have all of this cool stuff. Then I'm going to press confirm. Then I'm going to press leave. I want to make sure this is fully working and not just cheating by straight away opening up level up again. So I'm going to press level up, and yeah, okay, so that's one of the things that isn't working. I mean, it is working, but one thing I forgot to do is basically reset the colors as well. I did not think about that, so that's good. We already have those actions, so we just need to call on those actions. So that will be a last simple fix. But as you can see, the system is working. We can't go further back, and it's just these changes. So yeah, that's yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we just need to execute the text change actions again one more time. Let's actually try this as well. I mean, it actually doesn't make a difference. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference, of course, because yeah. Okay, cool. So that's working. All we need to do is make sure we turn off these little canvases, because that's actually annoying. Forgot about that. And yeah, just reset the text, and then we're done. So I'm going to pull up the level up first, because obviously that's the biggest little thing here. So button confirm. Yeah, I'm just going to execute some actions here. I'm going to do it like this. So game creator, actions. Cool. I mean, this all will happen instantly, so that won't matter much. And then we're going to do execute actions, actually, I can just duplicate these. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4, 5, 6, 7. And the more and more we're doing here, the more and more I feel like my whole, just think simple is starting to not be applicable anymore. Because it seems like, it's really not that simple anymore. But that's okay. I mean, it's simple. It's just, it's just quite the process. There we go. I'm opening this up so we can all drag it in just at once. It's just easier. Not text. Yeah. Oh no, please. I'm already too far. Cool. So where's that confirm button? And yeah, let's lock this just to make sure nothing's going wrong. So vitality. There we go. Attunement. There we go. Endurance. Strength. Dexterity. Resistance. And intelligence. Cool. So yeah, one last little step. Let's try this out just to be sure after we fix the other last little annoyance. And that's those UI elements, and that's should actually be for interaction. So we can unlock this. So for interaction, so yeah, it's setting active choices. What it should be doing as well is duplicate. It should be turning off sit down in this case. And on the first group, on this one, it should be set active light canvas, and there we go. Cool. Hope I did this right. We'll find out soon enough. Perfect. So let's try that. Light brazier. Maybe we should have done remove that light brazier from the start. I don't know. Instead of at the end, and then sit down. And we'll activate sit down. I made the same mistake with the buttons again. I completely forgot to move them. Sorry about that. Apologies. I'll just move this one down. No, not the. Yeah, so this is level up. So there we go. So let's try this out. There we go. We'll just spend this. Then yeah, let's just reopen it. That is interesting. I didn't actually change these whatsoever. So the order must have been different. I know that sounds weak, but yeah, the order must have been different. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So I just need to change that. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm executing the wrong actions here. Okay, cool. Just wanted to double check. Yeah, I'm executing the wrong actions here. So let's fix that first, and let's fix these choices, because my god, that's annoying. So level up. And I'll be fair, this video, this part of the process is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I didn't think this would take up so much time, but it's about getting it right anyway, so that's completely fine. And I didn't even have time to make things look pretty, so that's kind of a shame. So yeah, we have choices. That's completely fine. Change the text as well. And then I have to double check the actions here. That's a bit surprising, but yeah, when duplicating, it must have. I dragged in the increase actions instead of the decrease actions. I can't believe this. Increase. I'm sorry about that. So it's just on the last two, obviously, as those were the only ones that that changed. And yeah, apologies. So here we need to change the last two. So intelligence and resistance. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, for some reason, when duplicating, they got into the wrong order, and I was impatient and didn't double check that. Cool. So yeah, we finally got all of this working. Pretty happy about that. That's actually pretty nice. It's not difficult to set this up once you know how to, but as you can see, it is kind of time consuming. I definitely consider that the biggest downside with all of this, but that's okay. I'm going to do the same here. The canvas sit down should be the first thing to turn off. Cool. I'll add a small wait here of like 2 seconds. I just find it incredibly annoying. It turns on straight away. And there we go. And yeah, cool. That's it for this part. Now, the only small couple of things I wanted to change were basically related to the NPCs and the basically to the damage the player is receiving. Let's just keep it really simple. So this is our player, and we have we don't receive any damage yet, so that's obviously something we'll need to set up. So we're not receiving any damage at the moment. As you can see, we don't actually do that much at all on the player itself. So that's what we're going to set up. So trigger, receive attack, receive damage. It's important to keep that on, and then we're going to add some conditions. and the conditions are going to be dependent on who's attacking at that time. That is quite important. So we have our normal NPC. Um, yeah, basically what we need to do is we need to set up a system that defines the difference between which NPC attacks who, how much damage is this doing. Now the values of damage is something we already kind of set up before with our formulas, which is really cool. All we need to do now is just create some simple conditions that basically define who's attacking us. That's it. So the way we'll approach this is not actually through the NPC itself. So on the player, we have, we have the trigger on receive attack, we have the conditions, and we don't need to do anything else except for use that custom condition we had before is character wielding weapon, and we'll do invoker because that will actually be the one attacking you, which is awesome. We can then drag in NPC shield, and it will be the NPC with the shield, and then we're just going to do change attributes player, health, subtract, and the value global variable, and NPC damage basic or attack basic. I think it's attack basic. I'll be honest. I have to double check here. Which one is which? So values action, attack basic. Yeah, that's attack basic is no. It's so NPC damage basic is the result. Okay, I had to double check. So damage basic is the result. Sorry about that. Even I get confused as well because that's counting in the player's defense rating. So yeah. So that's the action we need to have, and then basically what we do is you set the same condition again. You drag in the different the no shield, for example, and it's up to you to decide if you want there to be any difference. What you could do as well. And there's not in this case, these will be the same. But what if, for example, we want to add the boss? So we want to add the boss fight here, and the boss needs to do more damage, for example, or less. It's up to you. I think it should be doing, should be doing more damage, most likely, I'm guessing. And then we'll go to boss. Boss 0, boss 01. You need to do the same, by the way, for boss 02, because obviously switches his attacks. Boss 01 should be doing more damage than 02, I think, based on the fact that he's more attacking into, or not. I mean, it's up to you. And then you do damage. Now the thing is we can pick values here, or we can do another formula as well. If you want to change that, drastically, we can just change formulas, for example, add another formula, like we had, we had math expressions before, of course, but one of the things you could do is you could do you could do global variable, where is it? NPC damage basic. We could create a new one, for example, for boss fights. So basically, you take the NPC damage basic. We can actually set that up. That's fine. Let's do that quickly. I think it's values action. Yeah, and that happens on start. Not sure if we can add another one. But it should actually take place after this. So let's do execute actions actually after this, just to make sure it's actually taking place in the right order. Then we'll go to duplicate this, drag it in. It's becoming a bit complex. I will admit that. But basically, We're not going to sync anything here. Let's do weight 0.02. Yeah, that's fine. And then we're going to basically create a new expression. And what we can do here, so we can take a new result. So what we can do here is really simple. We'll go, we have NPC damage basic, and we're just going to add NPC boss damage basic. NPC, we'll drag them below each other. There we go. So we have both of them. And the only thing we'll do is I'll keep things simple, because you know you can always complicate things you know, to whatever you want. And I should have added another I'll just do a fixed damage boss damage boost, which is will be 50. I don't know, something like that. There we go. And all we'll do here is we'll just change these. So we'll do fixed damage boost together with NPC damage basic. The result will be NPC boss damage basic. So yeah, it's simple. It's not, you can obviously overcomplicate things and make things more interesting than I just did. But that's up to you. And we'll just we'll keep it simple here. So we'll just do NPC boss damage basic here, and we'll just copy that over. Let's just keep it as it is. Because the thing is that otherwise, a lot of these stats won't have a lot of impact. So at least bosses will do a bit more damage, but not one-shot you either. Yeah, and I think that's fair enough. And basically, the more weapons you create for enemies, the more weapon types, the more conditions you need to add. So let's have a look. Let's go back to our scene. Let's turn on that lighting again. Go to our player here. We have the NPC here. Doesn't really matter which one it is. This is the shield class. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't really matter. And let's see if it works. And this way, it doesn't matter if it's a prefab, if you change different character models, etc., etc. It just depends on the weapon he's using. Cool. So yeah, let's have a look and see if this is all. Oh, I'm not supposed to be dodging him. He's supposed to attack me. Okay, cool. So yeah, as you can see, we're dealing damage. I mean, he's dealing damage. That's all good. All nice and wonderful. And we're dealing damage as well, of course. None of that has changed. So then the last thing we need to do is have some death conditions for the player as well. So let's add that trigger too. So trigger, attribute change, health conditions. We can call this conditions health and conditions death. Obviously, we can do some canvas stuff. So we'll need to create a basic UI for that as well. That's not going to do all that much on the player. So we can do a ragdoll. Doesn't really matter. We won't be seeing much of it. As we'll wait. time scale, and set active AUI. Again, if you want to use canvas groups, we can use canvas groups. And then, yeah, we'll just use a really basic one. We'll just create a new one. Canvas, death, seems that we need to do that a couple of times in order for it to work. 3, and add an image. Stretch. There we go. You died. Let's say 60. Overflow. And then a button. Let's do 200 by 400. Oh, 200 by 400. 200 seems a bit high still. Okay, I'm gonna go with 80 by 200. Yeah, that was way too big. And then, I don't know, continue. Square. I'm fine with the color actually. And then the text, bold, overflow, 30. Something like that. I mean, obviously this this is not going for any design awards because this looks hideous, but you get the gist. It's about the mechanics. So let's drag those up a bit. And there we go. So the continue button, we'll have to do a couple of things. So first off, the time scale needs to be set back to 1. It's really important, otherwise it won't. And then load game, and we'll load the last game. And is that load last game? Sorry about that. Load last game. Cool. Save. Now that's a couple of the last things we'll need to do. Obviously, is make sure that triggers. So let's turn that here. Just in case, and I might be wrong here, but I'll do a set active even on this. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but it doesn't hurt to add it. So we'll need to do the load game. So basically meaning we do need to add a couple of other things to the brazier. So interaction in this clause. And yeah, this is a weird bug I have sometimes. It just doesn't remove that remove the clause even when you press X. Obviously, it doesn't do anything, but still a bit strange. So we need to health attributes, player health set to 100. So we need to. Well, you don't need to do that, but that's what Dark Souls does. So I'll just add that as well. We did a save the moment that we're changing something, but we're going to do a save straight away as well. So save game. We'll do that at the at the beginning. And yeah, I think that should be pretty much it. So let's try this out. Let's see how all of this is working. There we go. So we'll light the brazier. And I'm aware, by the way, that keeping all of this equipped is a bit odd. Yeah, we could come up with something for that as well. One thing here, first thing I'm actually noticing is that setting the attribute was definitely wrong here, and we'll check that out straight away. So let's have a look. HP is 100 out of 1,000. So yeah, I want to try this out straight away just to make sure we can immediately fix this without having an issue. If theoretically I set it to a ridiculous value, and I have these actions play again, which might be a bit weird, but yeah, that's fine. He's sitting too close, I'm aware. Then technically it should still limit to 1,000. Cool. So that's the fix. We're done there. So we can leave. Perfect. So now I'm going to let him kill me. Just takes a bit of effort. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure Dark Souls enemies do actually more damage than this. So initially when I tested this was obviously without the defense calculation. And that's not that many. Still, I think it's too many hits, basically. So we can change that. That's okay. Cool. And then we have you died. And then if we continue, yeah, we're back where, we're back where everything's supposed to be. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, really nice. So that's all working and all functional. So really cool there. Let's make sure we fix that last little thing for interaction. So we just set it to a ridiculous value. That way we always cover no matter how much, vitality we have. So that's good, because we'll never be able to upgrade it this much. Now, the last thing we need to do is an NPC on their death. So conditions death. We need to add some currency. So currency is souls. And that's up to you how much you want to add. I don't know, 5 per enemy. Maybe that's not enough. 20? I don't know. Maybe 20 is too much. Let's do 20. And then for the boss, which obviously is going to be a bit more interesting. Then for the boss on his death. This might be a bit too much, but yeah. Okay, there we go. Cool. So yeah, I want to fix. I'm going to disable them. So I want to fix that base damage because we're not taking enough damage basically. So variables, attack basic. I think it was attack basic. There we go. I'm going to set that to 250. And yeah, cool. It's a bit much, but it's Dark Souls. Dark Souls AI is not particularly challenging for normal characters. It's just that they do a lot of damage, which makes it challenging. So yeah, we should at least copy that a bit, so have a bit more damage on default. Cool. So yeah, that's it for this video. I know this was a much longer than you most likely would have expected this video to be, but we at least try to perfect a couple of the mechanics. Some of them might seem a bit rushed, like the canvas on death and everything. But again, most of this is just about looks. It's not my approach is not pretty, but functionally it's all there, and that's the thing that really matters. So next video is going to be pretty exciting. I'll be creating, basically recreating the world we'll be playing in. It's a level. Yes, this will be a bit of a speed run, because otherwise this video would take hours and hours and hours. I will be going through, setting up all of the basics, because I'll be using a new service called Canopy. by procedural worlds. Basically, it's a new system they set up, and I'll show a bit more in depth in the next video because it's honestly really cool. Most likely a bit more than you'd expect. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.